There's a chickadee in the tree at the edge of your yard. Before you even notice it, it notices the very moment you take your first step outside. It weighs only 10 grams, yet the intelligence system it possesses is something even the most advanced countries in the world do not have. The instant you step outdoors, that bird sends a structured alarm call to every bird within hearing distance. This is not a simple or vague warning. It is a personalized threat assessment prepared specifically about you. It includes your height, your speed, your direction, and a specific danger level that researchers at Cornell spent 20 years learning how to decode. In fact, the system is still not completely understood. Every other bird in your yard receives this call and reacts according to its contents. Starlings, hummingbirds, songbirds, and species you may have never even seen before update their threat models based on what that 10 or perhaps 11-gram bird has said about you. Unaware that this system even exists, you have lived alongside it your entire life, never realizing that the most sophisticated alarm network in the world was operating all around you. Right now, some of the things you do in your yard, ordinary, well-intentioned activities, or whatever else you happen to be doing, are causing these birds to sound alarm signals, abandon feeding areas, leave active nests, and even lose their lives. Not because you are careless, but because you simply do not know. No one told you, and you never looked into it. Yet the research has been published in peer-reviewed scientific journals for more than 30 years. Tonight, we are going to explore all of it, and by the end, you will possess a valuable understanding of birds. You will come to appreciate the true significance of that very first step you take into your yard. First, the color of the clothes you wear matters. In 2014, researcher Piotr Trojanowski published an important study in the journal Bird Study that measured the distance at which birds fled from an approaching person wearing different colors of clothing. Light green and dark blue allowed people to approach birds significantly more closely, while red, bright orange, and high contrast yellow caused birds to flee from nearly twice as far away. The reason lies in one of birds' most remarkable abilities. Their vision extends into the ultraviolet spectrum. A red shirt that appears ordinary to you can be perceived by birds as a highly saturated predator signal, because throughout thousands of years of evolutionary history, similar color profiles have often been associated with dangerous animals such as hawks and foxes. To birds, these colors can function as visual warning signals, prompting them to move away immediately. The relationship between a person and the birds in their yard develops slowly and with great difficulty through weeks of consistent, non-threatening presence. When you step outside wearing a bright red sweatshirt and every bird within 40 meters startles and retreats, you may undo something that took 3 weeks to build. Establishing that level of trust can take months, perhaps even years, but damaging it may depend on nothing more than a single color choice. Instead, wear soft greens, pale browns, and calm blues. Colors that blend naturally into the environment. These are the colors of the landscape itself. Stop dressing like a hawk. Second, the biggest obstacle to building a friendship with birds is cats. In 2013, researchers Scott Loss-Tomwill and Peter Mara published a study in Nature Communications, presenting evidence that free-ranging cats kill between 1.3 and 4 billion birds every year in the United States alone. The average estimate is an astonishing 2.4 billion birds annually. About 2/3 of these are native species, the very warblers, wrens, and other songbirds you may be trying to attract with bird feeders. Ironically, those feeders can make the situation even worse. By bringing birds together at predictable times and in concentrated numbers, you have created a structure that gathers prey in one place. From a cat's perspective, you have unintentionally built the most efficient hunting station in the suburban ecosystem. Of course, because most people are unaware of this information, they have no idea what consequences their well-intentioned actions may be causing. Bell collars reduce a cat's bird hunting success by roughly 40%. Would typically hunt 10 birds a week, may now hunt only 6. Two solutions consistently work. The first is a fully enclosed outdoor cat enclosure, often called a catio. The second is keeping the cat entirely indoors. Indoor cats typically live more than twice as long as outdoor cats, making it a better option for them as well. They are not being deprived of freedom, they are being protected. And at the same time, the birds in your yard are being protected alongside them. Major cause of bird deaths is your windows. The same research team estimates that between 365 million and 1 billion birds die every year in the United States as a result of collisions with buildings. Approximately 44% of those deaths occur at residential homes, houses just like yours, with windows like the ones you may be sitting beside right now. The problem is not skyscraper glass. It is ordinary residential windows. Birds do not see glass. What they see is the reflection on its outer surface, trees, sky, open space, and everything else mirrored in the window. They perceive what appears to be a clear flight path and accelerate toward it. The obstacle they strike is one their brains cannot properly identify because they have no learned understanding of what a window is. Exterior window markings arranged in a grid pattern with spacing of no more than 2 inches vertically and 4 inches horizontally break up reflections enough for birds to recognize the surface as solid. Likewise, Acopian bird savers, simple cords made from parachute lines suspended in front of a window, have been independently tested and shown to be highly effective. Stickers placed on the inside of a window generally do not work because the collision occurs at the exterior surface. An interior sticker does nothing to disrupt the reflection outside. It creates the appearance of action without producing meaningful results. Remember this information and start applying it. A few small changes to your windows can mean the difference between a bird safely continuing its journey and one that never reaches its destination. Fourth factor harming birds is operating your pruning and landscaping equipment at the wrong time. Right now, there is a nest somewhere in your yard that you cannot see. Not maybe, almost certainly. Every spring, the same scenario plays out in millions of suburban yards. A homeowner chooses a Saturday in May, the peak nesting season for many North American songbirds, starts the lawnmower and begins trimming vegetation, completely unaware of the damage that may follow. The parent birds see the disturbance immediately. Alarm calls begin before the blades even start moving. The chicks fall silent. The mower gets closer. The parent birds cannot stop it. They can only call out, watch, and eventually flee. That is all they can do. Nests in the early stages of incubation are often abandoned after a significant disturbance. Eggs can cool within minutes. An entire season of investment, territory selection, courtship, nest construction, and incubation can be lost in a single afternoon because maintenance work is being done at the wrong time and with incomplete information. Whenever possible, schedule major pruning and vegetation clearing between late September and early March, when nesting activity is at its lowest. If the work cannot wait, take a few minutes before you begin. Gently separate the branches of each shrub and look for nests. Once you start actively searching, they are often easier to find than you might expect. There are usually far more nests around you than you realize, hidden in plain sight among the vegetation you walk past every day. The fifth factor is something almost nobody knows about. Birds are remarkably skilled at reading intentions. Their survival depends on being able to distinguish a harmless presence from a predator, and they often have less than 2 seconds to make that decision correctly. More often than not, they do. Walking directly toward a bird feeder in a straight, unwavering line triggers an immediate escape response, because that is exactly how a predator approaches a chosen target. Direct eye contact intensifies the reaction even further. When you look at a bird with the focused attention of someone who simply finds it beautiful, the bird does not interpret your admiration. It interprets being targeted, and it moves away. That response increases its chances of survival. Instead, approach feeders at a slight angle and move at a steady, predictable pace. Avoid stopping and starting repeatedly, as that resembles the stalking behavior of a predator, a movement pattern birds know well. Rather than looking directly at a bird, look slightly beyond it. Do not suddenly raise a camera toward your face. A hand moving quickly upward can resemble the attack posture of a predator. Speak softly. Move through the yard not as though you own it, but as though you belong to it. Become part of the environment rather than a disruption within it. Birds can learn to tolerate a human standing within arm's reach, but only if that human consistently behaves like a presence that never hunts, chases, or threatens them. Building that trust is entirely your responsibility. The chickadee from the beginning of this video is one of the species that responds best to this kind of patient effort. Some people, after only a few months, find chickadees willingly landing on an open hand. And remember, this tiny bird is one of the most important members of that sophisticated alarm network we discussed earlier. This is not magic. It is simply behavioral science applied in a backyard. When you understand how birds perceive the world and adjust your actions accordingly, trust begins to replace fear. In the end, both you and the birds get something valuable out of the relationship, a safer life for them, and a richer, more rewarding connection with the natural world for you. You may not have noticed, but the hummingbird is still there, perched in the tree at the edge of your yard. You walk across the grass, and even the very first second you step through the door. Right now, a report is being compiled about you and your yard. That report is being broadcast to every bird within hearing distance and updated whenever something changes. Every improvement on this list costs you almost nothing. You can wear a different shirt, mark a window, change your pruning schedule, enter the yard more slowly and predictably. What birds offer in return is friendship. Not immediately, not all at once, but through weeks of accumulated trust. And it is something no other connection with nature can truly provide. There is something deeply valuable about a wild animal deciding on its own terms that you are not a threat. According to the only classification that matters to a 10 or 11 gram bird traveling across the continent, you become someone acceptable, someone worthy of trust and respect. The hummingbird will continue filing its reports no matter what. The real question is this: what do you want those reports to say about you? Let me know in the comments which of these behaviors you never realized were causing problems and which one you plan to change this week. Share your experiences, observations, and knowledge so we can create a great conversation together. Until the next video.